We're Amy and Christina, two moms who learned the hard way that there's a lot we wish we knew about pregnancy and parenting.
So now we're asking experts all the questions, sharing what we've learned and what we're still figuring out, and keeping it real along the way. Welcome to What I Wish I Knew. Okay, parents, let's do a quick check-in. Are you carrying tension in your jaw right now? Your shoulders? Are you hanging on by a thread following a particularly chaotic morning or evening routine with your kids? Do we have a treat for you?
This episode features the one and only Dr. Siggie. She's such a thoughtful, wise voice in the parenting space, and this combo covered it all. Emotional regulation, setting boundaries, why it's okay for kids to sit with their big feelings, how to get through those moments when your kid says something truly brutal.
So if your kid has ever told you they're going to throw you in the trash, let Dr. Siggie be a balm to your soul. Let's get into it.
Dr. Siggie, thank you so much. Welcome to What I Wish I Knew. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. Happy to be here.
We are so excited because we focused a lot, in the past couple of months on the podcast on women's health and also pregnancy, infancy, newborn, because Christine and I are kind of both going through it. We're going through it. So we're excited to focus a little bit more on the toddler and above ages, which come with their own set of challenges that we'll get into.
Yes.
But first, I don't think you need much of an introduction for most people who have the internet, but tell us a little bit about yourself. How would you describe your approach to parenting? What kind of drives you?
Wow. Okay. That is a big question.
It is.
I think love, honestly, for children, but more so advocacy. And then I use a lot of understanding, almost like the ability to see things from their point of view, to hear it the way they do. I don't know where that comes from, to tell you the truth. I just know it's there. And with that, I obviously use my education, my experience, closely working with children and families year after year after year, that has gained me this understanding, this experience, and the perspective to be there for so many different people, almost all in a way struggling with the same thing.
Totally. I feel that so deeply because I find that in this stage of my 5-year-old's life, we have a lot of obstacles we're overcoming as a team and separately, right? And, in a lot of your posts, what I'm learning about myself is that I'm not thinking about myself enough in our hard moments. I'm not staying calm. I'm trying to fix a problem, right? And what you are teaching me is that I have to look at it from my 5-year-old's perspective, right? She is not me. She is not 37, sob, a bunch of life experience, but she's going through a lot of things the first time. And especially as a military child, we're moving her around a lot, and that has wider impacts, right? And so I would love to kind of talk about how staying calm is a practice for parents, not necessarily our default setting. Can you provide give me just some words of wisdom, please?
Yes. So you mentioned a few things. One, seeing things from her point of view, from the child's point of view, understanding yourself in that moment when you are just trying to fix something, and notice this is what's happening. It's almost like your brain goes into a fog. You don't understand where she's coming from. You don't know what actually you are supposed to be doing. You are being very emotional and triggered, almost like driven by impulse rather than thought. So calm is not, oh, I'm so relaxed sitting by the pool, or, calm is not necessarily always relaxed. Calm is actually more thoughtful, cognitive, rational. But that comes with the ability to understand that I am right now emotionally triggered, and to be able to stop that. Meaning, I have to say that to myself. I want to jump to fix. I think I need to fix. What am I going to do? How am I going to fix this? Wait, I'm being emotional. There's no rationale here. So we all know that emotions are good when we do need to jump in. Instincts are amazing when we do need to jump in and just do something. Most life is not based on this moment of crisis that I have, that is sort of make it or break it. Most life actually allows us to take a step back. And although our children make it seem as if everything is, it's all, like I say, it's all a crisis where I can't find this, you don't give me, it's like, whoa, yeah, I hear the yelling. Yeah, no yelling, just use your words, tell me. I want to start helping her manage herself, but I have to also understand that I need to manage myself rather than jump, use instinct, impulse, reactivity, or emotionality. I have to get to my thinking, and that takes a little time. So give yourself time. It's buying time. That's actually the practice.
Yeah. That's such a good point about buying time, is because a lot of times we allow our kids, or at least I'm not going to speak for you, Amy, but like I I lean into Anna's timeline, but she doesn't understand patience. And so that's the other thing that I'm trying to learn, is like, how do I not feel the immediacy that she does for this tissue, or for me to
Exactly.
like pick up this piece of trash that she has in her hand, like, or to give her an answer to something. Like, how can I teach her patience by showing patience? And in this day and age, though, I find that that's so hard because we are moving so fast, right? And like, I feel like technology just, I don't know.
Exacerbates it because
Yeah.
Yes.
everything is fast. And
Everything's fast. Click, click, click,
right.
click, right?
Instant
Immediacy.
gratification.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
I also think, Christina, to your point around like sort of modeling patience, when I ask Miller to do something or I I need him to do something, I find that I don't necessarily grant him the same patience that I would expect him to give me. Like if he's like, I need a tissue, like I'm not immediately, unless there's, he's snotting all over the place. Like I'm not running to the bathroom to be like, oh my God, let me help you. I'm like, hold on, let me put this down. Oh, wait, I'm holding your sister. Like, oh, whatever, life. But then when I'm like, Miller, put your shoes on, and he goes, okay, 1 minute, or he ignores me, or he starts to wind down what he's doing so that he can go do what I need him to do. I'm pretty quick to be like, Miller, did you hear me? I need you to put your shoes on. If he asked me to do something, I would expect him to give me a minute, or to understand that I can't do it this second because I'm in the middle of something that I don't want to stop doing. And it's harder for me to assign him that same like space, to give him that same grace, I think.
Yes, this is actually a really good point, because what you want to do with this piece of information, and this is good for a lot of other situations, hold on to that like, oh, I just had a thought. The patient, I'm asking him, he's not asking me. But then obviously you have to function. You need to get him a tissue, or he needs to put his shoes on, no matter what. Somehow you get through it, and you do. Find a moment to reflect back on it and bring it back up. Let's have a conversation about it, even with a 3-year-old, 5-year-old, 6-year-old, and so on. It's almost like these moments that are so uptight, intense. We are at each other's, sort of like throat. Take something from that, remember, and say, let's have a conversation about it. Those are really important teachable moments that are turn into learning moments. Because when we are in the moment, we can't learn. We just have to somehow get through and do. But we can learn with perspective. So 5 minutes later, 20 minutes later, it doesn't matter. Hours later, at dinner that day, I've been thinking about something. Sometimes you say, Mommy, I need a tissue. And I'm like, I'm in a minute, I'm this. Yeah, how does that feel? I bet you don't like it. Yeah, me too. That happens to me as well. So when I ask you, what do you think we can do? And so on and so forth. When we want them to learn, we want them to comply in the moment, But compliance and learning are not the same thing. Learning takes time. Learning takes space, collaboration, all that you don't have in the moment when you need to function. But you are not missing these opportunities if you remember and use them later.
Yeah. You bring up such an interesting point, Dr. Siggie, because, teaching isn't something that everybody's good at, especially as a parent. I think back to my parents. My parents have definitely broken a lot of generational, I don't want to say traumas, but, compliance was how my mom was raised. My mom was raised in Germany. Opa said something and that's what happened and it had to happen then, right? And they definitely did not raise us that way, but I think there's an absence of teaching parents how to teach. You know what I mean? Of course, we're not handed a manual when we have a baby. And so it's reminding myself that it is my job to teach to a certain point, right? Or at least model what needs to happen. Or what do you suggest is the best way for parents to kind of obtain some of these teaching or reflection moments?
Yeah. So teaching and learning goes hand in hand. You're not only teaching your child or children, you're also teaching yourself. Because you see, Amy, how you were thinking about this concept of patience, and I asked him, and suddenly you had a thought. You were just now learning something. It wasn't already a typical thought that you've been having all along. It just kind of came to you. So now continues more teaching and learning. So always look at it like that. What can we learn from it? Because remember this, back to before, like your child is intense and you have to teach yourself not to be as intense. You are raising a child. You are also growing yourself constantly. We are in this together. This is a process of growth and development for us as people, as parents, and for our children. Obviously, again, not the same, but still continuously. We don't know everything. We don't know it all, right? No.
We know nothing. The more we have conversations with experts, more we're like, God, how did we raise children for this many years? And they're like not totally ruined. Like, I mean, it's
Yeah. Good
we
point.
learning about ourselves, we learn about our kids, we learn about our partners. Like it's a constant, I guess, growth mindset of like, we never feel like we know it all, or we never feel like we totally got it right. But the beauty of that relationship with our children in particular is, I mean, they have an incredible capacity for forgiveness. They don't even know it. But what we hold on to, they just continue on. They're just living their lives. They're so present. They're so in the moment, and they also trust us. These kids trust us. And so when we have a conversation later about something that happened, when we're both not in the emotional reaction mindset, I do think that we need to just like trust that they could have that conversation with us and that they're taking away what they should.
Sure, absolutely. Um, and here's another thing to understand about children. I know the feeling, for example, of picking them up from school and dying to know everything. Now, children are not actually, when you think about it, they're not great conversationalists. They're not good at it. We want to have a conversation. We want to hear, we want to tell, we want to talk, but they're not. We really are not the same. And so we want to have this conversation and we ask the right questions. We try, we push, we don't push, we stay back. We're dying to know. But we have to remember that's not their agenda at all, because they are not thinking, I want to tell my mommy everything right now. They don't think. When it comes to it, they just do it. They're not thinking it because we're having a conversation. They'll catch you any moment and suddenly just throw it all out there, right? Yeah. So remember, as much as we want to have a conversation with them, it's not always possible because they're not good at it. They will be, hopefully, one day. They're learning, right? They will know this kind of back and forth and sharing and so on and so forth. And of course, depending on personality, depending on a lot of other things, not everybody's really great at it, but everybody can learn. But right now, just remind yourself, yeah, my child is not really interested as much as I want. And maybe if I let it kind of like go, find other moments, they'll come back to it, especially right after school.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've learned that about my daughter. Right after school, she needs to go play. You know,
Yeah,
she
it's
just
like the mind, yeah, they need, after they've been sort of like pressuring themselves and have been under pressure. We have to remember for young children, school is a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
It's not just mental, cognitive, intellectual, all the information. It's really surviving. And it
Mm-hmm.
takes a lot of social, emotional, physical skills constantly and effort.
totally.
So they're just done. And when they come to us, they're like deflated. They just want to be. They don't want to do anything anymore.
Totally.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like when Anna comes home from school, or when she's been at school, she comes home and she releases all the emotion she's kept bottled up because we get nothing but wonderful feedback from her teachers. She's a joy. She's so helpful. And I'm like, whose child
Yeah.
are you talking about? And so I do find that like because she's been in that environment, she's felt like she's had to behave, and I'm glad that she feels safe with me. But sometimes that meant that I would be too permissive with her. Can you tell me or like teach me a little bit more about what a boundary is and like setting the right kind of boundaries for like a 5-year-old?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this works for almost every age because let's say that she's acting, leave me alone, I don't want to talk, not now, or whatever it is that she's doing to push you back to give herself some space. Say, whoa, yeah, sweetie, can't use that tone with me, but you can definitely say, mommy, I need some time right now for myself. Or mommy, I need, just tell me, use these words. Because they think that in order to let us know truly how they feel, they have to be so outward with it. It has to be a big action and a big display, right? It's like I often say this, you slam a door. Everybody knows what that means. 0 words. Everybody gets it. But is it okay to slam a door in somebody's face to let them know? No. But is it okay to say, oh, I'm so angry right now. I really want to slam a door? Yeah, actually, that's okay to say. I'm not doing it. It just runs through my metaphysical mind in a way. So help it, set boundaries, not just saying, oh, you can't talk to me this way, or don't be disrespectful, or whatever it is. Say, wow, you can't talk this way. No, but you can tell me absolutely how you feel. Find another way. Obviously, with all the children, we can actually let them do this on their own. No. First, just kind of, find another way. Can't use this tone, can't, even some of the words, no. But you still can tell me, and I bet you know. So find a way that you can tell me how you feel, and it's okay for me to also hear it. So, yeah, this is setting boundaries, but also guiding them to communicate in a much more authentic, outward, but not aggressive kind of way.
Mm-hmm. It's hard in the moment. I mean, I think encouraging kids to communicate or teaching them how to communicate, modeling how to communicate, and all of that. I think the struggle is still in the moment when the kid is on the floor screaming or they slam the door. You say, no, no, sweet, and they slam the door in your face. Then what? Like, then you're even more triggered because you're like,
Yeah.
I'm trying to be calm here. I'm trying to teach you. No one's listening to me. I'm not even listening to me. Like, what do I do to break out in the moment of this is happening? And there's a boundary that must be set because the behavior is such that you know, it can't go on.
Yes. So the first time this ever happens, let's say a child storms out and slams the door, I don't know that you can tell in advance and you are prepared for it, right? But
Mm-hmm.
if this already happened, yeah, I don't know that you want to chase them and don't slam the door. Like right there, this is not a moment. Let them actually sulk a little bit. Often what happens is children who do slam a door sit there on the other side of the door and go, okay, now what? They don't have a plan. And they don't actually, they know right now this is going, action, reaction, action, reaction. So they're waiting for your reaction. Yeah, don't have a reaction. Everybody right now needs to sort of like just take in the action, no reaction. Oh, there was a door slam. Oh, he did that. Wow. And then you want your child to sit there and go, in a way, oh, I just slammed the door. Ah, I'm not sure what's going to happen. I have no clue. What is she going to do? Am I in trouble? Well, if I'm in trouble, I'm going to show her. I mean, children are egocentric and they can be very righteous very quickly. You don't want to go there. Yeah. So let it kind of, again, tell yourself, all right, this is something to definitely be prepared for, talk about. So wait and see what happens. Honestly, you're not going to solve anything right then and there just because you chased your child and told him, don't slam a door. You're not. Your child may create some scenario behind the door to let you know they're still upset or they are upset at you actually. Wait with it. Now, obviously you can set boundaries. You hear stuff is flying all over the place. You're like, whoa. But again, if nothing too major is happening, I would say buy time. This is an incredible, actually, opportunity for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can use it, you can walk to the door if you feel, or he comes out. Well, I'm angry. You're like, okay, so you slam the door. Yeah, not okay. And I bet you know that. You know that. Don't think that children are completely clueless of what it is they're doing. Which is, always remind yourself, they go to school and somehow most of them do actually behave well. And teachers are not constantly laying rules to them, right? They're not drilling these rules. Somehow, children do understand social structure on their own. We don't have to teach it. So your child will come back and you're like, yeah, the door that was slammed. Yeah, no, we're not going to do that. And you know what? I will pay attention next time you are angry like that. I'll make sure you do not slam a door. But here is what we can do. And now, depending on the age, you can say, you can tell me, I'm so angry, I want to slam a door. I'm not going to do it. They'll smile. Your child is like, oh, is it okay to say that? Absolutely. There's nothing wrong saying, I want to slam a door. I'm not going to do it. There's even accountability there, thoughtfulness, and your child recognizes it.
Mm-hmm.
So your goal is not to get them in trouble and to have this back and forth, who's right here. Nobody's right. Everybody's just angry. Your goal is to actually learn something from this experience.
Mm-hmm.
It's, from what you just said, one of the biggest things that I'm pulling out of it is to let them sit on the other side of the door, because I feel like, again, as parents in this age, we are bombarded by social media and people telling us what we should or shouldn't do when our kids are having big emotions. Sit with them, don't sit with them. But like, can you give me some instances where like it's okay to let a kid process emotions on their own in the moment? Like, should we do that all the time? Are there times where like we should follow them and be like, are you safe? Are you okay? Like, what's kind of I'm here for you. I'm here to sit with you and sit with your emotion, and your emotions don't scare me. And when is it okay to be like, you're going to process this and you'll come out when you're ready?
Yes. So, and you're absolutely right. There's a lot of information out there. Don't let them sit with their big emotions. Don't leave them alone. And the idea here, it's almost like loss of perspective and proportion. How long are they staying with these big emotions? You are on the other side of the door. We're not talking about real abandonment, rejection, or trauma, which I think this is where it's coming from. This is traumatic. No, it's not, because we're talking about 5 minutes, 15 minutes. I'm right here. We will have continuous conversation. This is ongoing. This is not something so traumatic that happened one time in our lifetime. And no. So sitting with big emotions, especially children, I mean, their emotions are big. All emotions are big in a way. But the idea is this: they are independently sitting with their emotions. And you are still there, present, accessible, just not right here. Because this independence and this autonomy is actually important. Always remind yourself, I am not abandoning my child, even when they cry on the other side of the door. You don't care. You left me. I mean, right? They sometimes switch from the bully to the victim, right? Very quickly. Yeah. Remind yourself, my child is neither. Right now, this is how they're feeling. I get it. And we will talk about it. We will break it down. I will be right here. There will be a moment of us able to repair that. It's not make it or break it.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you want to look at it. Yes.
Perspective. I mean, that applies in a million ways. It just, the perspective of, yeah, your kid's not going to be traumatized because of this situation. Also, the perspective of just because your kid behaved like an absolute hooligan doesn't mean that they are a bad kid or you're a bad parent. We should just say that too. And the
Yes.
perspective of, their perspective of like what just happened to you. You're like, what the hell? This was so insane. I just asked you to put your shoes on and now you're slamming the door or whatever. And to them, it doesn't feel insignificant. It feels very significant. And this is just a pattern that's going to happen throughout their whole life. There's always going to be things that piss them off, that frustrate them, that are obstacles. And if you are always trying to go fix it and not abandon them, they'll never learn resiliency to deal with these issues. So like this perspective, and of course, I'm saying this in a very calm environment with no children yelling at me right now, but the perspective is so, I don't know, it's something that I feel like you don't understand until you have to try and find it in these moments.
Yes. Yeah. You want to tell yourself, when we talk about staying calm and so on, and I said, calm is not like, oh, everything's fine. Calm is thoughtful. I am thinking, I know my child right now is struggling. I am not abandoning. I'm not rejecting. This is hard, but let me kind of give myself some grounding. I'm not really rejecting or abandoning or traumatizing. I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
I'm giving it some time. Emotions have to subside. We can't talk right there in the moment. And all human beings, even from the very beginning, do have the ability to have some autonomy and grow their independence. And that's actually what is happening. And I just want to say one other thing. I want parents to remind themselves, not that I say this is the right thing, but if you are a parent that sometimes tell your child, well, you need to think about what you did. Aren't you leaving them with their big feelings right there? Or, right, the timeout, you need to think about, what is that? So now they're emotional and I am not letting them be with their emotions, but when I'm punishing, they're supposed to sit there with their thoughts and feelings. So I say neither. There's no such thing as you need to sit there and think about. I can see that. Yeah, there's a lot of thoughts and feelings running through your mind. Take your time. We can talk about it in a moment, one way or another, when they're bad or when they're emotional. Yeah, I am here, and it's okay for a child to have thoughts and feelings on their own, which, by the way, they do. We're not constantly in their mind. They do.
Mm-hmm.
So remind yourself again, perspective, proportion. It's not real abandonment trauma. It's actually coaching them to flex their muscles. We are there to say, you can do it. You can do it. It's okay. It's okay. One more. No, I am dying here. No, you can do it. One more. And that's what we want. Strength, resilience, right?
One thing I do want to talk about, we've talked a bit about tantrums and kind of staying calm, et cetera. As kids get older, they get better at, saying things that it's harder to not take personal. So talk to us a little bit about those moments where it is very hard not to take things personally because they're so dang mean.
Yeah, they are. They're literal. They have no filters. And here's something else, and maybe I can add it actually to the next post. They are having a hard time. They're not trying to give you a hard time, but they are actually in some type of pain. Hard time is painful, right? When I struggle, when I'm being challenged, when I don't get what I want, it's literally pain. When I'm in pain, I actually want to cause you pain because I can't carry or bear this pain on my own. So that's actually what they're doing, literally and intentionally causing you pain to let you know they are in pain. Can't you see I'm suffering here and I'm struggling and my life is this and that? Well, you need to know what it feels like and so on. It's really, the I don't know, the most primal form of eye for an eye. That's what is actually happening. When you remind yourself, my child is in pain and now trying to hurt me, I am stronger and bigger than that. Yeah, it's not. They can't really inflict that pain on me. I need to help them manage their pain by showing empathy to that. So I remind myself, yeah, no, I'm not taking it personally. You can even say, yeah, this does not sound good. This does not make me feel good. Don't be too exposed right then and there. Oh, you're hurting my feelings. That's not okay. Why are you doing it? You're not at that level. You're not at their level. You are here, they're here. Remind yourself of that. That is actually the role of a coach or a guide or a mentor. They're supposed to be above the situation and above the person. So remind yourself of that and then go back to, yeah, this does not sound good, or I can see you trying to hurt my feelings or hurt me. Yeah, it's okay. I understand you are hurting right now. No, I'm not. I'm just this. And, they're projecting because they have a hard time truly self-reflecting. But
Half of this, I feel like, is literally narrating a situation. When you narrate the situation that's happening, first of all, it takes you out of it and you're
Yes.
observing it as opposed to feeling it. But also, it's kind of like, I don't know, it's like a basic level of just how you teach a kid to talk is like you talk to them, you name things, you describe what you're seeing. And it's sort of a similar way, but about feelings. Like when something's
Yes.
happening, you just narrate what's happening, and somehow that makes it easier, that makes it clearer, that makes it a little bit less stressful.
yes, and you're absolutely right, because the narrator is almost like on the outside of the scene. And so when we're talking about, how do I not take it personally? I'm in the scene. I'm part of the scene. This is all part, it's to me and about me. No, it's not. I'm outside of it. I am the narrator. I see myself and my side. I see my child. I'm not making the story of the scene about me, because I need to actually be here to mentor both of us, myself and my child, out of this sort of like chaos. So, in order to do that, I have to stay rational, mindful, outside of it, right? Perspective again. Right then and there, your child is literally drawing you into a fist fight. And you're like, okay, I'm not going to do that with my child. No, no, no. We're not doing it. And certainly not doing it in this kind of way where my child is forcing it on me. No, no. That's also how you stay the mentor. You stay above it, you stay outside of it. Very important for them. How I'm not your friend. No, sweetie, you're not, and that's actually okay. Or, you're not in the family. I hear that you're very angry. Yeah, you can't say that because it's not actually true. No, you're not. No. But I am thinking actually that sometimes you don't want to be in this family. Do you sometimes want to find another family? Yeah. Uh-huh. Does it happen when you're upset? So do you see how I completely made it about her? I didn't fight. I didn't argue. I didn't try to make it sort of like equal between her and me. No, I was there for her, but I was able to contain it for her in such a way that she was learning to self-reflect.
And I mean, you can use that tactic in a lot of different ways, I feel like, but just simply like switching a gear of like they're in the rut of emotion and screaming or upset or embarrassed or whatever they feel, and if you're able to just kind of give them an opportunity to respond, you're giving them an out, almost like you're giving them the opportunity to calm down or to just pause or to answer a question they know the answer to, or maybe that they have to think about. It's almost like a version of, when a kid falls and hurts their knee and you're like, oh, look, an airplane. Do you see the
Yeah.
airplane? And they're like, where? And all of a sudden the moment is past and you're past the danger zone. Emotionally, I feel like that sounds like a tactic you could use too.
Yeah, but it's not about distracting them because remember, they are smart and they're
Mhm.
intelligent, and we don't actually want them to be distracted from what is going on so they forget about it. We want them to actually be the opposite, be mindful of what is going on so they can truly learn from it. Because when you are present and in the moment, that's when you learn better rather than all over the place, like that. So we want them to stay right there. I hear you. Yeah, no, you can't say it this way. I can understand you're angry at me. You can even say that. Mommy, right now I'm angry at you. And I'll say, I know, I understand. I take a moment of pause and I go, what would you like to do about it? What do you want to do right now? So also engage them in some solution, in proaction. They're not just, again, passive in, I'm having the emotions, I'm throwing it at you. What are you going to do about it? No, they're part of it. And they're the ones that have to learn to navigate their emotions, so we have to keep them in the emotion right there because that's how we learn, right? What is practice? Doing something, being immersed in it over and over. I can just sit on the side of the pool and somehow become a good swimmer.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Dr. Siggy, we named this podcast What I Wish I Knew because, we learned a lot that we had wished we had known at the beginning. So if you had one thing that you would tell new parents, right? Like they're in the newborn phase, they're not at this point yet, but if there's one thing you wanted them to know going into the toddler years and beyond, what would that thing be?
Wow. What I wish I knew is a very philosophical, interesting concept, right? Because it always leaves us with that feeling of as if I've done something wrong because I didn't know. But I want to see myself as a learner. I wish I knew it. I wish I've done it differently. I didn't actually. And that's part of the process of growth and learning. In the moment, so I don't find myself in what I wish I knew. I don't know that that's actually possible. So I want to tell brand new parents there'll be many moments you look back and tell yourself, wow, I've learned so much. So what I wish I knew is almost like reframed in, I have learned so much that I didn't actually know. And obviously, whatever you can do to help yourself heal from your own pain, to be mindful, to keep growing. I think that parenting, especially the first child, brand new parents, wow. I don't know, it's an earthquake and a tsunami to your brain all at the same time, right? It like really turns your world upside down and you find yourself in this, situation that you have to function. Give yourself credit that you do have instinct, that all the things that have been done all along are not gone. People have been raising children. And like you say, you even mentioned your parents changed some things from their parents, and then they changed some things as parents for you. But everybody still had something and passed it on and took from it and then learned. So you have your instinct. If you have a support system, it's wonderful. Use a good support system. Um, get in touch with what makes you stressed and anxious, and work through that. And it will help. It's not going to take away what I wish I knew completely. So know that it will still be there, and that's part of life and living.
Do we need to rename our podcast to I'm so proud of what I've learned? I am a constant learner. We're all just learning this together. I have lots of ideas of how we can rebrand.
Yeah. I think that what I wish I knew is a great reminder not to sulk in it, not to sort of like dig ourselves in this kind of, whatever that is, pit and stay in it, but to be reminded it's always going to be there. That's just
Mhm.
part of growing and learning. So it's actually okay. It's not a negative concept, it's a positive one.
Well, you are such a gift to us. Thank you so much for your time and your wisdom and insight and just talking to you makes me feel calmer. So just really appreciate you giving us the time.
You are very welcome. Thank you both so much. It really was my pleasure.
If you found something helpful, insightful, or just plain reassuring in this episode, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And if you have a moment, leaving a quick review helps more parents find us.
We're also always looking for great guests, so if you know someone or that someone is you, please reach out. You can find us at whatiwishiknew_ or whatiwishiknew.life.
Thanks for listening, and until next time, stay sane, stay calm, or at least fake it until bedtime.